they moved along. So let's just play it. And let me know if sound is okay.
The appropriate response. That's the appropriate response.
Yes.
I think that the confusion is when one is a predicate of
Right.
the other.
Yeah, I think that's what they're
And I
struggling with.
think the correct response is, as alleged in the indictment, that if a offense is listed as a predicate.
I mean, I'm not going to say predicate because maybe just say like if it's dependent upon or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
They would have to prove out every element alleged in the count, including Mr. Weinstein.
I mean, that's already in the instructions to the jury that they have to consider each of the elements. I mean, could the response just be a referral to the jury instruction?
It could be, but it would be unbelievably unhelpful if we did that.
Well,
So-
I guess I'm still struggling with exactly what their question is. I mean, they're dependent. Yeah.
Oh, for Jesus Christ, not now. No. Why do I get a world of doom now? I just restarted. I'm at 10% memory and 12% CPU. Is this?
One other thing that comes to mind is with at least a firearm count, the machine gun is removed, but there's multiple firearms in the house.
Right.
And I'm trying to find what the number was, but in our instructions, we had, sometimes there's multiple ways to commit an
Yeah.
offense. That specific instruction may aid them if
No, but-
it's.
Sebastian Miller, when the jury asks questions, is that a good thing? Depends on the question. If I'm taking it on a positive note, there's a juror who is adamant in convicting them, Jack Gotti, for the intent to sell drugs, and somebody's. Let's get the actual meaning of the word intent. And when it comes to the video of the videos of the Texaco, they are asking for the actual drive-by and something at the Texaco. Also there, in the best possible light, can we exclude Mr. Kendrick? Worst possible light is for the drive-by shooting. Can we actually see Mr. Stillwell walk into an infinity? Does the times add up and stuff like that?
Oh, sorry.
If it's in relation to, sorry, Mr.
Right, if that's what they mean, but
Yes, Your Honor.
considering that, and I can explain that they don't have to have possessed all of the guns as long as they find that they possessed one of the guns with the requisite intent or whatever, if that's what they mean.
Yes, Your Honor. And the other state's thought on regard to, I do think it's appropriate, and as each individual count, they have to evaluate on its own merits. Obviously, these counts relate with one another, but I think that principle of law is.
Well,
But if
yes, yes, they need to consider them individually and reach a verdict on each separately, but they are interrelated counts, so that's why they're asking. So
Yes, Your
they need
Honor.
to-
I mean, if their question is regarding the possession of marijuana issue, because that seems to be the thread that runs through these three, right?
Yeah, I
The only
think
thing
so.
they have in common. So,
In Your Honor, there was one other
but
thought when Mr. Weinstein.
no, I guess I'm still struggling with their question. If the issue is the marijuana, then if they don't find the marijuana, well, obviously they have to find
I mean,
it as well.
It's easy enough to start with 58, possession of marijuana with intent to distribute.
Yeah.
I
If
can
that's-
say these are the elements, and they want to understand what intent to distribute means.
I mean, their question seemed to be more if they don't find 58, then they can't find 61.
I think so.
Yeah. And I think that would be maybe what they're looking at.
Yeah.
And then obviously 57, they have kind of two options there, as I see it.
All right, I'm gonna, yes,
Say make it smoother in terms of the surveillance video.
yeah,
For the barbershop footage, there is 5 videos and really 4 angles.
uh-huh.
One of them captures
Laying
the
this in
shooting,
1, 2,
one of them
2 to
captures
5
inside the
so we can
barbershop,
catch
and then
up,
2 of
because
them
this
capture the street in
happened
front of McDaniel Street
half an
itself,
hour ago.
but doesn't capture
And
the
they're
shooting,
still
and
talking.
one kind of faces the Texaco. And with the Texaco footage itself, there's a lot of surveillance video from the Texaco with different camera angles. I believe there's as many
I
as
see
7 or
on
more.
Twitter
So
that the speculation is they want to see Mr. Kendrick go into his car, which was not the Infinity.
I have an idea in my mind. I don't want to assume which specific portions they want to watch. But for example, some of the
I know, Samantha.
vehicles
Thank
at issue, like when they arrive, some arrive as early as 8:40 or 6:41.
Mm-hmm.
And then they leave at 7:20 p.m.
Right.
And so I'm working on, there's different softwares that play those, but the state's getting in a posture to be able to play those surveillance videos. But if we have clarity, at least with the Texaco, it can be a little cumbersome to pull up the different cameras
No
on
worries,
the fly.
Samantha.
So I just
You
wanted to
never
see if
know
there's any
if
more
I
clarity on
support
what
it or not.
specifically with the
Better to
Texaco,
be
because it
sure
captures
than not.
almost 2 hours worth of footage, some of which is irrelevant for purposes of you don't see any suspects.
Well, I'm
or-
sure that they don't want to see a part that they never saw to begin with.
Yes, Your Honor, I agree, but there's also, there's a portion where, there's many different portions that could be relevant. Like there's a portion where Mr. Kendrick walks in the store. There's a portion where different vehicles leave or arrive that captures 50 minutes worth of footage. And so there may be very specific events, so to speak, or times of that they want to watch. But I just wanted to highlight that for the court.
So would the idea be to cue each of them up, the portions that were shown before, and say, do you want to watch this? We could do that.
Yes, Your Honor. Or if they were able to describe an event or something that came up in closing or something to orient what they want to watch. Like we want to see when the Pontiac arrives, or we want to see when, and they may not be able to give that clarity, but I just wanted to highlight that because it may make it more efficient when we publish it.
Ideas on that?
I think if we just ask in a non-leading way, what portion of each, because the same thing, my understanding, and maybe I'm wrong, in the letter, in the note, they said something about McDaniel Street.
Right, it
So-
said, the drive-by shooting, I mean, that one we know what they mean, right? And the Texaco Northside McDaniel Street.
So I think if they, I believe I know what camera they want to see from outside the barbershop. Even with the barbershop, we had 4, I think, different cameras.
So
if we just get clear.
if everybody thinks they know which of each it is and y'all agree, then we can just start with those and say, is this the one you mean, or is there another one?
Okay.
With the Texaco, though, I'm not sure which one they mean because there's so many different cameras at the Texaco. With the McDaniel Street barbershop, I'm pretty
Well, I
confident.
don't think it's the one from inside the barbershop.
No,
That
but
one
there's
wouldn't
2
be
outside the barbershop. So, but I think it's probably the one that shows the actual shooting. I'm guessing.
Well, we can start with that one.
Yeah.
And then say, is that the one? There's another one. Would you like to see
Right.
that one too? And they probably will say yes,
That's-
honestly, but
That's fine with that, with the
Yeah.
barbershop, but with the Texaco,
Right.
there's so many options. I think we have to ask them what they specifically want to see. I mean,
do y'all want to put a description of each of them together and we can send it out and say, circle the one or ones you want to see? I mean, I don't know how else to,
yeah, I get, because there's kind of an
I
inside
mean,
Texaco and an
describe
outside
what you want to
Texaco.
see seems,
Yeah. I mean, what do you think about the Texaco?
I think there's just an inside and an outside.
No, the Texaco has, there's multiple insides. Maybe there are multiple insides in the Texaco. Well, we could just ask them, do they want to see the inside of the Texaco or the outside of the Texaco?
okay, I mean, that much we can do.
Yeah. Can I jump back to where the 57, 58, 61?
In a second, Sergeant Brown, can you go ask them to let us know whether the video from the Texaco they want to see is the interior or the exterior? And if they can give us any more detail about what they want to see.
If not, this might help, I think, I'm not certain, but they're probably talking about something in closing. And so if there was a point of reference, like play by.
Well, if they've-
defense,
Just ask the question that I asked you to ask them.
Okay.
If they want to clarify further, that way they can.
It- Okay,
Don't want us talking while
I
the jury
understand.
door is open. Okay.
57, I think I misspoke on 57 where I said there were two ways. Rereading 57, count 57. It looks like without the possession of the marijuana, they can't do 57, 58, or 61. So that may be what they're referring to. Because of the possession of a firearm during commission of a felony in 57 requires 58 and 61, which is the marijuana again. So that may be what they're talking about with 57, 58, and 61. Is the possession of marijuana with intent to distribute. Because wasn't there also a question regarding intent that came to us?
Yeah, they originally said, well, no, I'm sorry. On their second one, they said, please clarify the wording intent to distribute and underline the word intent. So I'm looking for where I explained intent to distribute and intent right now. And we'll see.
Right. Now they are asking the unit to clarify. Skip ahead a bit.
The intent to distribute.
Page 23.
I'm sorry?
The intent to distribute is defined at the bottom of page 23.
Yeah. Which they have out with them. So obviously that's not helping them. But
Maybe they just can't find it in the last.
maybe. I mean, I'll read that part over to them.
Hey, Gigi. Everybody say hello to my first and best moderator, Gigi. Hey.
Of course, I think that's another one of our circular definitions that ended up in here. Or recursive definitions.
So on that, I would propose to say that for, which count is it? Is that count 58 for count?
The possession with intent to distribute, Your
Yeah.
Honor? It's actually an element of
Well,
all three.
I know, but. So for possession with intent to distribute means that Mr. Kendrick, frankly, if you go back to the knowledge part that I charged on page 13, knowingly and intentionally participated or helped in possessing marijuana, intending to unlawfully deliver or sell it.
Yeah, I agree that incorporates the
Okay.
proper definitions.
So the state must prove.
Your Honor,
Hang on. Sorry, I just need to get this down and then just hold your thought. Let's turn our phones off. That's one of the jurors' phones. It's in a box over here. Okay, maybe you can go figure out and like put them all on vibrate or something.
One thing with if we, in the best light possible for both Kendrick and Shannon, say a juror has the same opinion that I have. The drive-by car is not an infinity. That's my opinion. I stick to it because it's not the same grill. What if a juror have owned an Infinity and had the exact same thought and is now trying to show it to the other jurors? Now, complete speculation, but it could be the other way around. It's We are all speculating now.
Eleven and 12. Part of the instructions the court had read that may be helpful is where it's page 11 and 12.
Okay.
It describes criminal intent. Intent may be shown in multiple ways. Criminal intent does not mean, it starts right on the bottom of page 11. Intent is an essential element of any crime. And then I believe it continues to discuss about intent right through the middle of page 12. And then
Hi, Melissa. Good morning. No, we haven't. They are still discussing the jury questions. And the jury questions so far are what's intent in intent to distribute. And they want to watch 2 videos from the Donovan Thomas murder. The one from outside the barbershop showing the actual drive-by, and from Texaco. No, we don't have a verdict, Dave. Shut up, love. Sit back, shut up, resign, Miss Love. What? What do you mean there's no sound? Oh, for fuck's sake, this piece of StreamYard absolute twat junk. Absolute twat junk. I need to change. I need to change even though they have so many features, I'm so used to. Since it was sold to another company, garbage, complete garbage. Hold on while I do. Oh, you're not supposed to see that. Dun, dun, dun. All right, I have to go out and back in again. I'll see you in a few seconds.
the state believes.
I mean, the most helpful part of that is it means the intent to commit the act that is prohibited by a statute, which is specifically with regard to this one, intending to unlawfully deliver or sell marijuana. I'm thinking about saying on intent to distribute, possession of marijuana with intent to distribute, the state must prove that Mr. Kendrick knowingly and intentionally participated in or helped in possessing marijuana, intending to unlawfully deliver or sell it. And find out whether that covers what they were asking.
That sounds like the right course to Mr. Kendrick. When you have a second, I just want to go back to 57, 58, and 61.
Sure. I mean, I know we need to get that.
I know, but I don't want to do that if you're still
Yeah,
writing
I
or thinking.
appreciate it. All right, yes.
Okay. Regarding their question about the separateness, interrelatedness, whatever term they used of 57, 58, and 61,
Yeah.
I just think it would be, perhaps it would answer their question if you went back and explained that possession of marijuana with intent to distribute is a required finding of each of those three, and that may help explain that.
Okay.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, when the court allows, I have a question.
Hang on.
Okay. Folks, I will say this once. If you're thinking about streaming, no, not StreamYard. Not StreamYard. Now, it does have features I'm getting used to, but it's not worth it. Every fucking day, there's something wrong with this absolute horse shit trash streaming app. Every fucking day, there's something wrong. And they made it 4 times more expensive to use. So yeah, I'm going to change. I'm going to try out a few different ones. Sorry for the language, but StreamYard, go fuck yourself all the way to fucking hell, you imbeciles.
All right, yes, ma'am.
The court may have already answered this question, but I don't know whether what Mr. Atkins just referred the court to was the part about intent may be inferred from the proven circumstances or by acts and conduct. Did the court respond to that?
I'm not planning to read all of that unless when I read the first part and ask them if it covers what they're asking. If they say no, then I'll circle back and read that whole part. Did they get back with us on the video thing? Okay. Do they know to do the light? I mean, they were doing it earlier. All right.
I'm going to try Rumble Studios first because I've used that before and it has some new interesting features. Other than that, I guess I have to go
Please provide the
with
videos of the
OBS.
following: the gas station when Yak was getting into the car, camera in front of the station.
Oh.
Y'all understand what that means? Okay, and then number 2, the drive-by shooting in front of the barber shop on McDaniel Street on Donovan Thomas.
Okay.
They clarified that one for us too.
Judge, there are there are 4 camera angles of the drive-by shooting, so we'll be prepared to play one of them or all of them, whatever they prefer. There are 4 different camera angles of the drive-by shooting.
Did you
I'm
just
presuming they mean
got
one
yourself
that
a
actually
buzz cut,
shows
Mr.
I would think
Rob?
so. So let's start.
Okay, so now the question is, okay, the drive-by, that's not an issue, but they want to see Yak Gotti go into the car. That's excellent. That is really good because the prosecution in their closing argument said something of the sort of, he might have switched car all on the way to the scene, while the defense says he was there, he talked to people, and then he went into his own car, which wasn't the Infinity. In my opinion, that is really good. Really good for Kendrick.
Start with that one and ask them, is this the one you meant?
Okay. Do we have this number?
Yes.
So they added, Mr. Weinstein, also, please have Attorney Weinstein clarify if he said my client's watch or where is the watch regarding the Richard Milley watch, which is in no way, I mean, it's a total red herring. And good for you for distracting them, but that is not an element of anything they're supposed to be considering.
I don't believe that was a red.
That's that's not a red herring. That goes to credibility of Miss Burrito. So it's not a red herring.
That is not an element of anything they're supposed to be considering.
I don't believe that was a red herring. It went to the credibility of law enforcement
That's
and their
true,
witnesses.
but-
So I would disagree with that characterization
Anyway,
of the
what
court.
did you say?
I said, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't say his watch. I probably said the watch. If I said his watch, that would have been I would have misspoken.
Okay. So I will just say, Mr. Weinstein did not say my client's watch. If he did, he misspoke.
I probably said, where is the watch? That was a 30th birthday
Where
gift
is the
from
watch?
Drake to Mr. Williams.
All right,
And it
so
rates
I'll just
little
answer
value.
that he said, where is the watch?
Your Honor, would the court be inclined to respond that what the attorneys say is not evidence?
Yes, that's
And that should
Oh, Miss Love. Oh, Miss Love is shitting her pants right now. She did not like that. Oh, it's not evidence. Please tell them it's not evidence. Oh, clutching pearls, clutching pearls. Oh. Oh, they took notice with the watch. They took notice about the watch.
not be
idea.
even a consideration
Uh-huh.
rather than telling them
Yes.
what he said.
I mean,
But here's the thing, it's not his words. He asked questions. And Miss Large Ass Burrito answered. How she answered, that's in evidence. They might remember how imbecile she answered. They just want the clarification of what he actually asked.
and I'm going to do both.
It was definitely the watch.
I'll just say, Mr. Weinstein said the watch. However, what the attorneys say is not evidence. How about that? Does that work?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, she's worried now.
Remember that what the attorneys say is not evidence. Yes, sir.
Your Honor, 292 Yankee Alpha is the shooting barbershop surveillance footage. I know when the shooting happens. I wanted to ask on the record or defense counsel, there's about 8 minutes that plays before the shooting occurs.
Can't imagine that's what they want.
I don't want to just, I want to tell for the record, or agree with defense counsel, find a portion we can all agree to start that video.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's fine to start a minute before or
Okay.
whatever. That's fine.
Thank you.
But thank you for clarifying that and mentioning that.
You're very well. Thank you.
I'm going to say, however, remember that nothing that the attorneys say is evidence.
But how is the response from Miss Wonky Tits Burrito? I miss Mo. I have invited her. I also sent a link to Rachel Kaufman. Oh, here's a theory from X. They are probably trying to see if someone came out of the sunroof to shoot. Hylton made that a point in her closing. We also saw the video in slow motion repeatedly. There was no shooter coming out of the top. Or did I miss something? That's interesting. Who's the bloke in the white jacket? That is Buzzcut Miss Love. Hello, Lonstar Living. Good to see you here. Hello, all of you over at Rumble, and hello, you who watch us over at X. Please say something in the chat on X, so we know you are there. Okay. Can I skip ahead? Sit down.
Within. All right, how about after giving them the definition or the explanation of possession with intent to distribute, moving on to whether you need to group counts 57, 58, and 61 individually or separately, you need to consider them individually and reach a verdict as to each separately. But possession of marijuana with intent to distribute would need to be proven for count 58, count 61, and count 57.
Yes.
And I'm putting them in that order because that's kind of the order that 58 is possession with intent to distribute. 61 is possession of the gun because while you're committing that crime. And then 61 is if you're committing that crime, are you then potentially committing gang activity?
Yeah, I understand. That's a far more natural order than they appear in the indictment, so.
All right. All right, are we satisfied then with the answers? And then we'll just have them, I think I'll have them watch the videos, and then answer their questions. Because that way, if there's any follow-up, they can let us know that. All right, yes.
So, Your Honor, the intent is to play the Texaco footage first?
Yeah.
And then will they tell us when they want us to stop? Because they're at the Texaco for about 36 minutes. So what?
Do y'all know when you intend to start? I mean, did we watch 36 minutes?
It was all introduced, every
Okay.
bit of it.
I think they requested a very specific part of that Texaco.
Yeah.
Didn't they mention entering a car? or
The
exiting?
gas station when Yak was getting into the car, camera in front of the station. So I think we start there.
Yeah.
And then
When he
Oh.
was
I'll just, that's what it says.
Miss
when
Love
Yak was
really
getting
wants to
into the
play
car.
more of that video.
So, I mean, do a little bit that leads up and a little bit afterwards.
Yeah, let's
and
just play the portion.
If
that they're-
it's any more than that, I'll just say, does that cover what you
getting
wanted?
3 times. So do we need
Well,
the
then
last time?
play each time he gets in the car, I guess.
Okay, so that's going to be on camera 10, just for the record.
Okay.
And I'm gonna, if the court will give me 1 minute, I'm gonna pull it to the first part.
All right. Do we have the extra copies of the indictment to give them? Have we given them extra copies of the indictment at this point? Sergeant, have we? Okay, thank you. All right, let me know when you're ready and we'll have them out.
Yeah, the car that Jack gets into doesn't have a sunroof. And I saw this question, what does all this mean? Well, my interpretation so far is that the jury isn't taking what the prosecution says hook, line, and sinker. They have questions because in the closing arguments, there were a lot of maybes and whatnots. Maybe it was this, maybe it was that, maybe it was sunroof. They don't buy it. They want to see it for themselves. Same with the intent to distribute drugs. What does actually intend mean in that? Because if they find that Kendrick had no intent to distribute, all those counts are gone. And now they want to see the video of Mr. Kendrick going into the car. This is good for Kendrick, I believe, in my opinion.
Queued up 296Y. All right, and Your Honor, we have it queued up 296Y at 19:16:33.
All right.
Jury's walking in. Oh, there's.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The first thing we're going to do is watch the videos that you all requested, and then I'll move on to answering the questions. All right, go ahead with the first one.
Excuse me, Your Honor, may we approach?
Yes. Do you want me to stop the video?
Yes, please.
Okay. Give me a second, Phil.
Yeah. Let's go back. This is what, yeah.
Stop the video?
Yes, please.
Okay. Give me a second, Phil.
That's not exactly what they asked for. And folks, that is a sidebar. Which makes it sidebar counter 350. We got one more. We got one more today. One more sidebar. Yay! Oh. Yeah, she played more than they actually asked for, which to nobody's surprise. Now, that might be what they are discussing. That because you see how he looks back at Miss Love. Mr. Weinstein is not happy that she played more than they actually asked for. I hope it is that. Okay, let's look at the next one. Oh.
Your Honor, for the record, we're on camera 10 at 18:44:31.
So he sits down in the infinity, but he then walks to his car.
We're not sure exactly which getting into the car you meant, so we're just trying to show all of them for y'all, okay?
And at this point, for the record, we're going to stop it and stop sharing and then fast forward to the next point that he gets into the car.
Okay.
We're stopping at 18:48:17. And 25 on camera 10. is the second time he got in the car.
I wanted to see on
No,
that.
that's not the last
Oh,
time he got in
okay,
the car.
all right, sorry.
We're fast forwarding.
Sorry.
Fast forwarding.
Y'all are nodding yes. Okay, all right. Now we'll move on to the barbershop video.
Your Honor, and for the record, it's 292 Yankee Alpha, and we're starting at 8 minutes and 22 seconds of that exhibit.
So they only wanted to see him get into the car, but he never left in that car. Oh, this is interesting. Hold on. First, I want to show you. Look at the grill on that Infinity. It is a horizontal, one of them in the middle. I will try to pause it myself. Look at that grill. The grill in the Texaco, one vertical. Those, what you see there, are horizontal. That is why I claim it's not the same car. I'm going to play this in half speed. See? Those are horizontal on the grill. Let's get back to that is a vertical. All right, let's get back to this. And just also, I did this last time, just here. I'm playing this in normal speed. Count the seconds from when that, even with, say it is, car is passing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now is their shooting. So when that light-colored car drove by, it's a grand 10 seconds until there's actual fireworks. How many other cars drove by after? Here comes the light-colored car. One dark car. 2 dark cars. So which one? Seriously, which one? How can you watch that video and claim that is the white Infinity and that is the... Yeah. It's not... I'm telling you guys, it's not the same car.
Your Honor, may you inquire if there's any more of this video? I'm stopping for the record at 9 minutes and 14 seconds.
All right. Does that satisfy what y'all wanted to see on that? Or is there a different angle or more that you want to see? That's good. Okay, that's what they wanted to see. All right, moving on. Sorry. Good, okay. All right, moving on to the questions. Mr. Weinstein said the watch. However, remember that nothing that the attorneys say is evidence. All right, moving on to the next couple of questions. All right, on count 58, possession of marijuana with intent to distribute, the state must prove that Mr. Kendrick knowingly and intentionally participated in or helped in possessing marijuana, intending to unlawfully deliver or sell it. Does that cover what y'all are asking with regard to that one? Yes, okay. All right. Moving on to whether you need to group counts 57, 58, and 61 individually or separately. You will need to consider them individually and reach a verdict as to each of them separately, but possession of marijuana with intent to distribute would need to be proven for count 58, count 61, and count 57. Does that cover what y'all wanted to? Okay. All right, then I will excuse y'all to continue deliberations. Thank you. Those things. All right, we'll be in recess until we hear from them again. Not for the record, but would it work for, this is not for the record, I'm just asking you as the cameraman, would it work for